everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Three Dads and a Console. We know not every dad can stay up to date on the latest and greatest in video game news that you need to know about, so we are here to do it for you. Remember, this show is kid-friendly, so no earmuffs are needed. I've been stumbling the past 2 weeks. Now on with the
Did we
show.
all just say that he definitely swore there?
No.
To keep our so we don't get our E for
Especially
explicit, I'm gonna
during
say
that
no.
line.
That was a swear.
Your swear.
I should
Speaking
beep
of-
it out so it sounds like a swear.
Definitely a swear.
That'll make a good.
He
That'll make a
said
good.
SHIT. I am saying he said it.
That'll make a good TikTok on TikTok.com/Three Dads and a Console. I'm Waba Plays, alongside, as always, hello Court.
What's up? I'm trying to figure out a game to play. It's so hard.
There's not enough to play this year. There's not too many games.
The issue is I could get the game that I want to play, but it's a lot in Canada here. You have to make choices on video games because they're an investment.
True.
And so like for me, Dead Space is the game I want to play. I just finished playing a game that I didn't think I was gonna love, but loved. And then when I tried to go back to the game I was playing, which was Borderlands, as I told Pez, I can't go back into it. I can't play it. I'm out. I'm done. I'm walking away.
You know, sometimes good things come to those who wait, or
No,
or you just get nothing.
That's what I think is about to happen here.
The grind ain't worth it. The grind ain't worth it.
Who knows? You know, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get nuts. So who knows?
These nuts?
Who knows? Speaking of these nuts, hello. The bad transition. I'm sorry. Hi, Paz.
Are you for real right now?
What do you mean?
Anyway, hi lads. What's the crack? Unbelievable.
Got him, dude. Our 3 12-year-old fans are like, oh,
oh, snapping their fingers. Oh,
you're like, oh, I can't believe it.
Speaking of D's nuts, like he actually said it. He was like, "Hey, so speaking of D's nuts,
you know, my father-in-law got me a T-shirt that's a nutcracker for Christmas in my stocking that said D's nuts. I immediately changed into it, and I'm just happy I found a support system that understands me.
So it's an enabling system. Let's be honest. They're enabling your behavior.
Next Christmas, it's gonna be like, now Waba, there's a lot of good people here. They all care about you, so they're gonna say some things. You can say what you got to say, and then we can get on from there.
Your father-in-law is gonna be like, "Son, I thought the T-shirt was funny, but you haven't taken it off in 365 days."
You know, I respect him because sometimes, like, we'll be talking in a group text message. Believe it or not, I do text back once every quarter, and he'll be like, "Is this an appropriate time for a D's nuts joke?" And I'm like, Yes,
Sure
my sweet summer
there
child.
always appropriate time for a D's nut? Ooh, crisis. Oh my god, I don't know what to do. I gotta put my controller down. I'm turning my console off. I can't.
What's gonna cash in his 401k to buy Crisis 3 remastered?
No, I have it. I have
Crisis
Remastered. I'm like looking at this. I'm like, okay, do I play Crisis Remastered? I could play BioShock 2 again and then do that DLC because the remastered. Give it another, because Pez told me I should give that game another chance because you said it's not as bad as I remember, right?
Dude,
BioShock 2 is very
awesome.
good. The gameplay is very good.
I like it.
Stories,
fine, but the gameplay is great.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Minerva's Den is one of the best DLCs I've ever played.
And if the servers are still live, enjoy. That multiplayer was so much fun.
The multiplayer was fun. There have been a lot of multiplayer games that were very fun, and then nobody played them. Did you guys ever play the Arkham Origins multiplayer?
Didn't know it had one.
Oh man, it was so much fun.
I'm with Waba on that. Didn't know.
It was like, I'm trying to remember. Basically, you played as Batman and Robin, and you were trying to take down like Joker or Bane thugs. And as like, if thugs were getting the objectives done, the highest scoring thug then turned into the boss.
Yes.
And you had to take down like the Joker or Bane. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And
also,
seemingly
no
one played it.
I will 100% be watching a hockey game during the show today because our beloved Boston Bruins, that's right, I said are playing the most whiny fan base in the history of hockey, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Also, for the uninitiated, there are sponsors on each team's jerseys, and Toronto had the wherewithal to be sponsored by Milk,
Milk.
which is exactly which served lukewarm is exactly their taste. Just they play like milk, but so you might get some play by play if you didn't watch the game.
That was not a okay. So Pez, where you agreeing? That's he could have went so many places with the milk joke.
Okay, well I don't live
I
in
respect it.
Toronto.
I respect it. It is.
I
a
do live in
clean
Toronto,
diss.
and oh,
Is it spiking milk sales?
No, I think it would be the
Tirana?
opposite.
It's better than Arizona's being Goodwill Arena, or whatever.
No, Mullet
Got
Arena.
donated to
No,
them.
they're sponsored by Goodwill. So we got some news today. What we're gonna talk about, we're gonna talk about some recent news. We're also gonna be talking about some games that we've been playing, and then we're gonna talk about
Are you okay?
some big announcements. Yeah, just little tickle, but we made it through. I hit that mute
Did we
button.
make it through?
We
We'll find
survived.
out. Got a few more minutes to find out if this is the end. Went out how I wanted to on
This
recording.
is the end.
Big thing, E3. A show that I feel like everybody wanted to attend at some point. If you're a gamer, if not as a consumer, as like being able to cover it or something. E3 looks like it's done. So E3 notoriously has been a big opportunity for Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, occasionally Bethesda, which but they used to just have these giant conferences. I know PlayStation used to let you watch it in a movie theater.
Yeah, Ghost
they
of Tsushima was, I think, the last one Sony did there, right?
Huge announcements. Yeah, they had people there walking into different rooms, experiencing it. It was so over the top. They're not going to be there. And we're finding that things are changing. Now you have PAX, which you can see, Pez and I at, which have, some of the smaller game studios. And it sounds like E3, if it exists, will be like a PAX, but probably not as successful because they haven't done it like this. But what are you guys' thoughts about E3? Where do you see it going? This is big news.
All right. So it doesn't surprise me because why would Microsoft or Nintendo or PlayStation take their capital and spend it on renting out a hall? In Xbox case, it's like the new Forza Motorsports coming out. Let's rent a Porsche for the day, right? Like none of it makes sense because as gamers, we necessarily don't care about the stage show. Don't pay Keanu Reeves to come out, say, "Oh, you're breathtaking and you're breathtaking." We don't care. Show us the game, right? So what Nintendo did and now what other companies are smartly following is the directs. The directs are the way to go, baby. The directs are the way to go. Low cost, low maintenance, easier access, and get your point across in 0 to 45 minutes. It would not surprise me to see even stuff like PAX East lose big developers. Last year, I don't think any of them showed up. We don't know yet if any of them are going to show up this year. But the last time I went was 2018, I think was the last one I went to, or 19, and it was only Nintendo. Like Sony didn't show up. The one before that, Sony was there, Xbox was there, Nintendo was there. So it wouldn't surprise me. And that was also, like right before COVID kind of took off. But it won't surprise me if they don't come to those either, because you don't have to pay staff. You don't have to pay floor space. You don't have to pay props. You don't have to pay for any of that. You just do everything on directs. Let tabletop games, which are getting a resurgence, let smaller indie titles, let all that stuff take over the conventions. And E3 honestly doesn't need to happen anymore. Mm-hmm. EA doesn't need to do an EA Live for an hour and a half outside at some Vista and pay Greg Miller to run it. You can just do it online, right? Ubisoft doesn't have to do that. Just do a Ubisoft Direct or call it whatever you want to call it. There is no need for the grandiose staging of announcing video games anymore. You can just do it online, and it may impact consumers more online because they're not dropping it. It's not like a 3-day event where we're working and trying to watch everything at the same time. So I think the writing was on the wall. As as an economy that is seeing less storefronts and mom and pop shops shutting down and everything moving to online retail and digital sales, this also makes sense.
So I'm 100% agreeing with Pez. I actually like the directs more now. I think it's more of a hype. Like for me now, like the fact that we don't have the E3 thing, I think what happened first of all is the pandemic destroyed it
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
these companies learned how much money they could save by not doing it. I know Xbox is still doing their showcase, which their summer showcase, which should be around the same time. But the last time they did one of these, you know, I got to go to one and it was amazing. What Xbox will do is they'll just be like, here's what's coming out in the next 12 months. Now, that could be huge, right? Because that could be before or after Starfield. I think it would be after Starfield releases if the March thing happens. But then that means possibly they could be showing Fable, Avowed, all these games that other games we want to see, right? So their showcase, they can do that, what they did the last time, where they had one in New York, one in Los Angeles, one in Toronto, and I think the other one was in Mexico. I think that's the 4 places they had it, and so it probably cost a heck of a lot less than doing that whole show floor at E3 and doing that big, big presentation and paying all these people to come in when they can just do this. So my hope is that's what they're gonna do, and my hope for PlayStation, to be totally honest, is they do the same thing. I wish that Nintendo and all of them, they would all do the same thing as Xbox, and they would be like, here's 4 places to go. We're gonna have it for the fans, and we're just gonna have one day. The only thing I don't like about these directs is they're all over the map. The thing I missed about E3 is we knew we were getting it wasn't the Game Awards. We were getting once a year where we got to see everything.
Hmm.
And now we don't get that. So that bit of hype, I don't think people realize how good that hype was. So that's the one thing I'll miss from E3. But I totally get it. Economically, it just makes sense to not do it.
Yeah, I remember listening to it at work and like getting hype on my little cubicle. And it was fun. Like sometimes I would take the Friday off. Like
Yeah.
we don't get that anymore. Well, now we can go to like in-person events, but people who never were in like old enough. Oh God, this makes me sound old, but like
You
you
are.
you can't recapture that, and that's okay.
Has color
Um,
mold.
Fine. But like you mentioned the Game Awards, like why rent out time at this show when someone else is putting something on with sponsors, footing the bill, and we can either pay or they'll let us in, because if it's Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo, yeah, like give us your announcement. It'll help us. I don't know if they have to pay for a spot. I imagine the content would drive like the ability to get sponsors and ads, which is like the incentive, but whatever the business sense is, but it's probably free for the big guys. And also too, like influencer marketing is so much more prevalent now. So it used to be like you go to E3 and only like what is it, like some consumers and like mainly the news outlets, and they have like the working around the clock to like get these like articles up first or whatever. And then you get into the part where people can now watch them streaming online. Again, I know I'm dating myself. Like, now we can
'Cause
watch it
you're
from
old.
the comfort of our home. And now you have it, if people want to get in front of people, they use smaller outlets, influencers, people who can like, play the game and tell their community that it's good or whatever their opinion is. And then that can drive sales because you're talking to someone who instead of just giant news outlet article of site you don't care about. So things are definitely shifting, and it's not just with games, it's with a lot of things. But I think it's interesting, and it's sad in a way, but it's also like that's just how it has to be. And I do like the directs because now they can spend more time on it. They don't have to worry about like, oh, we only have an hour.
Well,
Let's shovel everything in.
also, I think a direct can be more focused. Like again, like Court said, Xbox comes out and says, "Hey, these are coming out within the next 6 months." Shows us 45 minutes of 5 games. E3, it's like, okay, we need to show something. Well, Ubisoft comes out and goes, "Let's show them Beyond Good and Evil 2." And so they show us Beyond Good and Evil 2, and it still hasn't come out, right? Multiple times did companies say, "Okay, we have nothing to show them. So let's create this big stage show. Let's show them a game that isn't ready, that isn't a trailer." We talked about, we know about Batman Arkham Knight. So they run this beautiful CGI, PC driven, PC driven trailer and then the game doesn't look like it, or there was all these marketing deceptions and ploys in games that either never got released or got released way later than we thought they would because they had to show something. It had to be big and bombastic. It needed people like me and my buddies are all in at the time, like a Facebook chat, right? So we'd be watching E3 and all of a sudden someone would come up and it's like, oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God, Todd Howard's talking about Fallout 76. Oh my God.
Brandon Carlo had a breakaway and hit the post.
Brandon Carlo miffed it. But now we don't have to worry about Fallout 76, Todd Howard coming up and blowing smoke up our butts, right? Or we don't have to worry about Diablo coming out and being like, hey, this is the game. And some guy stands up and he's like, is this an April Fool's joke, right? We don't have to worry about any Bethesda simps sitting in the audience going absolutely bananas every time Todd Howard sneezes. Like, we don't have to do any of
Todd
that
Howard
stuff.
sneezed again?
Yeah, he did. It was Elder Scrolls 5. It was a Skyrim remake. Sneezed it right out. But we don't have to worry about any of that stuff because it seems now what companies are going to do is just say, hey, this comes out in 12 months. Or like a majority of these are coming out within 12 months. And then if they get pushed back, they get pushed back. But I feel like E3 was always this pressure where you have to bring your A game, make it big, make it like a movie, make it feel cinematic and a spectacle and blah, blah, blah. The Michael Bay of video game showcases. And it's like, what's the point? You don't need to do that.
But I was thinking, here's what I would love. I would love that they do the one showcase a year, and then when at the Game Awards, they show off the games that are not coming anytime soon. So at the Game Awards, we just get games that we know are not coming anytime. So we get the hype. Like, what are they going to announce? That's where the big announcements are. But when they do their showcases throughout the year, zero announcements, unless you're doing what they did with like Hi-Fi Rush, where it's just like games out now. It's what's coming out in the next little bit, not what's coming out in 5 years, what's coming out in the next little bit. But the Game Awards, yes, we all were watching. We're all waiting to see what awards they are, but we're all actually secretly only there to watch the game trailers.
Yeah, there needs to be a way. There needs to be a way for the big teasers, right? Like all of a sudden it's blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, it's, Marcus Phoenix's face just flashes across the screen and it's like Gears of War, right? And everyone's like, oh my God, a new Gears of War game. But that isn't, that was what E3 was. But now you don't have to pay for all that capital to do it. Send it off to Jeff Keighley and be like, here you go, bud. And then he's all like, world premiere. I'm Jeff Keighley. I run everything. And he's good to
World
go.
premiere.
You're
World
Mario and you're
premiere.
Jeff Keighley. This sound pretty much the same.
He's
You're
a
Chris
me, my
Pratt, Mario,
HB, Jeff Keighley.
Well, everybody was
Where's the
joking
gabagool?
today. Was it yesterday when the DC was going to announce everything? They're like, just watch. Chris Pratt is
Pratt is
Superman.
Batman.
Yeah, or Batman.
Why not both? Then they don't have to. They can just use them in all the video games too.
Yep.
Just make him everything. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash. It's all Chris Pratt. We're just in. It's called the Prativerse.
Oh my God.
And
Imagine
the
what a horrible
Flashpoint
thing.
is going to be called Pratt Point, and it's going to be all the Pratts from all the different universes. And you're going to have Mario show up. You're going to have him in Guardians, and you're going to have him from Jurassic Park. It's all going to
I love it.
converge.
We
I
won't
love
get
it.
Flashpoint.
Andy from
if,
Parks and Rec.
if you go off that we're doing nothing.
Oh. So
Speaking of DC.
Yes. Since I said it, might as well
ol'
use that.
But
as a
yeah, let's
segue.
go.
Speaking of
Right. So
DC.
Court, tell us about it because I know you're jazzed up about this. This
Yeah,
news.
so James Gunn made an announcement, which I at first was a little skeptic on. So James Gunn is now hold on, breakaway. Why is it every defenseman going on a breakaway? James Gunn made an announcement and he told us what's going to be happening with the DC universe. So the way it's going to work is movies like The Joker and Matt Reeves' Batman are not going to be part of the DCU. They're still going to be movies. They'll still be existing in the world, but they're not going to be part of the overall extended universe where everything is going to be same. So everything that's going to be the same. So technically we're going to have two Batmans. That annoys me because I really think Robert Pattinson as Batman is very good. And I love the world that Matt Reeves has created, but I get it because what they want to do here, which is very cool, is everything to do. So they're going to have TV shows, movies, and video games. And if a character is Superman in the TV show or the movie, so there will be a Superman. It's called Superman Legacy. That will be, according to James Gunn, starting the whole thing off, because we're still going to get the Shazam movie that now no one wants to see for obvious reasons, and an Aquaman movie that no one wants to see. There's going to be 2 movies that are going to come out in the DCU that almost pointless when I really think about it, because what's the point of putting these movies out if they're not going to be part of anything, except for the fact that Flash movie, I'm going to watch it because Batman's in it. It is what it is.
Michael Keaton's Batman.
Exactly. No, that's what I just said. Batman.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna get the Superman Legacy movie. We're gonna get the what did he call the Batman one? It's gonna be Grant Morrison Batman, but Beyond or Brave and Bold, correct? Which will be Batman, the Son of Batman, which is a Grant Morrison run in Batman. You can actually buy the graphic novel. I've been reading it right now. Art style is beautiful. It's when Damon Wayne is introduced, because he had relations with Talia Gould, and he had a son, and it's Damon Wayne, who's a psychopath. Like, seriously, straight up psychopath.
Sure is.
So that is the run of Batman we're gonna get, which is a more like a James Bond type Batman. So like when he's Bruce Wayne, he's like sleeping around, very cocky, but he's actually putting on a show. Like when he's talking to Alfred and stuff in his ear, he's actually saying to Alfred, like, are they buying it? Like, he's not really that person. He's more reserved outside of that. So I really like it. It's almost like Batman has 2 personalities. Well, 3, because Batman. And then Alfred is more a stronger Alfred. He does like medical stuff. Like, there's all this stuff to it. We're going to be getting stuff in the Wonder Woman universe. We're going to get a TV show, Green Lanterns. So there's going to be 2 lanterns, which is detective style, which I am very intrigued about. So I'm guessing all this is going to be on HBO. But I think more related to us here is the video game part. So the fact that we're getting more video games. Are we getting a Superman game?
If it doesn't play like 64, I'm out.
Man, I was just gonna make that joke.
It's not even.
What do you mean joke?
Oh, okay. Court, you skipped over the best movie that they announced.
Are you talking about Blue Beetle?
Was Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing, dude.
Oh, I didn't skip over it.
The new. Okay, so if you you go, because I know you.
No, I have fond memories growing up reading Swamp Thing. So I'm very excited that they're actually going to give him a shot. And from what it sounds like, it's going to be a more horror-like movie, which I am 1000% down with.
And Court, as much as you like the new run of Batman, Snyder and Capullo's run, they did the new DCU Swamp Thing.
So I know. So
if they draw from the new comics, it's well written.
Correct. But I don't know if they're going to.
Even if they don't, I mean, it shows that title still has. They didn't back it because the title, it can be good. His run was very good. I know it kind of like fell off because they took 52 new things, and then they narrowed their focus because nobody cares about random stuff. But Swamp Thing's been such a cool like character, and if done right, they have so much material to pull from, and they can make them look horrifying now.
On a Swamp Thing movie.
I also I was a little like when he's like, oh yeah, we're canceling everything, but then when he said like, okay, Pattinson's back, like, great, do these one-offs. People love them. Like, as much as I like how much things integrate, and trust me, like, I want him to be the Batman. The fact that they're not forcing, like, look how much success Joker had. Nothing. It doesn't all have to be involved. When you try to involve everyone, like, not from the beginning, you get weird things like whatever they put Batman in, like the Harley Quinn movie or whatever. It's just.
But now we're about to get 2 possibly 3 different Jokers. So because we have one in the Matt Reeves universe already, we have the Joker, and now we're about to get another. Well, mind you, in the Grant Morrison Joker, he kind of dies real quick. But spoiler alert, he shot in the face.
I think that's okay because I think one-off movies are fine to establish. Whatever.
What does he call it? Hold on, I'm gonna pull up the names of all this. He has a name for it.
Because I'm kind of sick of the whole Marvel thing because everything needs to tie into everything else. So everything becomes so watered down and convoluted. where it gets difficult to then put the threads together without watching like, whatever on YouTube to be like, oh, did you see this in phase 4? And when you start watering down the product, it's just not that good. Like some of
So-
the Marvel stuff in phase 4 was just not that good.
Here's what we're getting. So they will. Peacemaker stays.
Shocker.
Okay. Superman Legacy.
Yep.
The Authority, The Brave and the Bold, which is Batman and Robin. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which will have. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Swamp Thing, and then you have Creature Commandos, which is I don't know what that is. Waller, Booster Gold, Lanterns, and Paradise Lost, which is Wonder Woman. And then you're still gonna have the Aquaman, Shazam, and the Flash, but that's just coming out because it doesn't even matter at this point. But he
Too much
calls it
money
something.
invested.
He called it something. Keep talking, and I'll find out the name he gives.
I love
He gives
that.
it this weird name.
First off, can I just say I love that DC axed Henry Cavill and decided to still keep Ezra Miller, who is a gigantic
Seriously,
Yeah.
lion
Jen?
tongue.
well, no, they
Like-
didn't. So, from my understanding, is because they already filmed the movie.
They did
Well,
that.
I mean,
with,
that
well,
doesn't mean
didn't they
anything,
film
'cause
Batgirl and they
filmed
just said nope.
Batgirl and just threw in the trash.
Yeah, but supposedly it's real bad.
But she didn't do anything. She didn't assault people.
No, but
so are the
supposedly-
rest of the
Doesn't matter.
DC
The movie's
movies.
bad. This movie's bad. There's not much you can do.
I mean, are we sitting here like Wonder Woman 84 was the pinnacle of cinema? Wonder Woman 84 was a trash movie that probably maybe one of the worst DC movies.
But
I
also,
haven't seen it.
he mentioned something in that presentation. The Flash movie has to come out because it resets
It has
everything.
to reset. That's fair. But I just like how they're doing all these different characters. Like like you said, like Robin. Like we haven't gotten a great Robin in my opinion. Even the one where
we've
it's,
never had a good
Well,
Robin.
what about the one where what was it? God, the end of the
End of the
Batman, Dark Knight
Batman. Yeah, no, I
trilogy,
get it.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, your legal name, Robin." Okay,
Dude,
Yeah.
screw
talk about
that
shoehorning it
movie.
in.
Screw that movie. I was in a full theater and that happened and I booed.
Take back your destiny. It's so weird.
She was like, "Oh, you should go by your original name, Robin." And I stood up and I was like, "Boo!" And
How do you say that with a straight face?
a couple nerds yelled at me. And my wife was like, "Sit down." And I'm
Oh,
like,
King
"I will
Shark
not
has
sit
jumped
down."
You start throwing like cabbage at the screen.
Yeah,
I do love that we're gonna get a bunch of. We're gonna get the Waller is gonna be an animated. We're gonna get some animated stuff, which I
That's
like.
gonna be. She's a great
good. Their
character.
animated stuff is good.
Mm-hmm.
Their animated
wish
stuff is
m-
best.
I
But we're
wish
gonna get a
most of-
violent Robin, hopefully. Like, and he's a kid, which is cool. I hope that they take a lot of inspiration from Kick-Ass because I feel like Hit Girl is the Robin that we like. It's like that type of character that we could get. Got a tude, lethal, short.
I just love
Got a
how
Batman
we're getting
cape.
Shazam still, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Peacemaker Season 2, Joker 2, Batman 2, Gotham Knights, Superman and Lois, and Pennyworth, and none of it matters.
We're not even getting Black Adam 2. I thought the whole
And James Gunn
everything has shifted.
confirmed Henry Cavill was not fired. He just wasn't hired.
Big distinction. Too bad The Rock can't sell us on Black Adam 2 The Streets.
I was in. I'm still.
Of course,
I'm
you
still
were the
holding on
only
hope.
one in. You were the only
I-
one in after seeing
I
that movie.
Love that movie. But so it goes. I don't know. It's cool. It's interesting because I also like that they did this, and like I do appreciate how like head on Gunn is with like a lot of these things. He's like, we made some tough decisions and decisions not everyone's gonna like. He's like, we have a vision, we have a plan, and I'm gonna share it with you in 5 minutes. And I thought that's like really good. I feel like first off, not enough like entertainment companies don't have to, but I feel like it goes a long way to do something like that. Acknowledging that the decisions you've made, like that it's being negatively received, but also to share. And I think it's like totally done a 180. And also too, I saw another quote from him where he's like, I think like Zachary Levi, I don't know what was said, but he's like, I don't have to agree with everything my actors say. Oftentimes, actors and directors don't agree on everything.
Yeah,
it's just
let's
such an
not quote
interesting
him, though,
take.
right now.
No, fair. I haven't seen like what it is, but it seems like such a different take than I feel like what we've seen. I don't know. It's just I don't think we've seen something like this before because frankly, Marvel's the only one to do it. And to just push the reset button, I don't recall another entertainment time that's done this.
But I want to ask you guys, what do you like more right now? Marvel TV or Marvel movies?
I would say
I think
movies.
the answer is pretty easy right now.
Dodging oncoming traffic.
Yeah, it's tough to pick one.
I honestly
I think their
don't
TV
think
shows are good. I think
I don't think
the only reason I say that, and here's my take on it. The reason I say that is because WandaVision was very good.
Oh, you're talking about now. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Um,
I'm talking about now. Their TV shows right now, the Marvel TV shows that you get on Disney Plus, I think are better because we're flushing out characters, right? Like if we look at WandaVision, we got a lot to do with, and it went from like light to very dark, and it was a very well done thing. Loki is a good TV series. I'm not saying all of them are good. She-Hulk was decent. Hawkeye was
I liked Hawkeye a lot.
it was all right, but it wasn't like Loki and WandaVision are just they're S tier, right? They're very, very well done, very good actors and actresses in it. It's very well done. But they also flush out very cool characters that we don't get a lot of screen time in the movies as well. So we're getting more of these characters. And I think that's where you have the problem. Like when Doctor Strange came out, everybody was like, oh, this is great. I'm like, was it though? Without WandaVision, is this movie any good?
Fair.
I mean Marvel's Phase 4 movies were terrible.
Wakanda Forever, I thought was really good.
I haven't seen it
Namor,
yet.
Namor is very good.
Holy save Allmark.
What are the other movies though? Like I can't even recall them. Like that's like how tough it's been.
Black Widow,
Not good.
Shang-Chi,
Fine. Haven't-
Very good.
Haven't seen,
Eternals.
unfortunately.
Eternal's really bad.
Thor: Love and Thunder,
It wasn't that good.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I didn't think it was that good.
I loved it.
I know you
I
loved the
loved
fact
it
you
in
got to see a bunch
theaters,
of people.
On second watch, I was like, okay, it's not that good.
Nerds.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I loved it.
And then
Why was
Wakanda
that-
Forever.
I
Wow.
love I get attached to some of these like actors like as the characters too. So I
Okay,
think that's it too. The TV shows I guess I also like, as you know, I'm impatient. So I like kind of like a 2-hour, 2.5-hour experience instead of like a longer show. But again, if the show like WandaVision, like I wish that went on longer because it was so good.
I think-
Are you saying that you? Oh, they're reviewing this. Oh, son
I
of a-
think if you go through the TV shows, you'll realize there's only a couple good ones and the rest aren't that good. WandaVision, great. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not good. Loki, great.
Mhm.
What
There's
If?
no way they
Are
can
we
call it
counting
good.
What If as part of the MCU? If so, What If?
It is. It is part of the MCU because
Yeah.
think about it. Part of the Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. It comes from What If.
Hawkeye, not bad, not great, but not bad. Moon Knight, honestly, didn't enjoy it.
Oh,
as much as
I thought that
love
was
I
Moon
great.
Knight.
forgot about that. I like that. I didn't like
Miss
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel. I didn't like it. I didn't like the style of it.
And then
I
She-Hulk.
thought she was good.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Your Little Pez loved that, didn't she?
She did not. She watched like 2
Oh.
episodes. Was like, yeah. So I think the TV was better, but that's because the movies in Phase 4 weren't good, and they didn't point to anything. They didn't point to anything. The only thing that was pointed to Phase 5 was Loki.
Yeah.
At the end, right? Nothing else was a poignant direction to Phase 5.
Well, no,
None
I
of the
think
movies-
WandaVision and Loki were.
But that's
Yeah.
it. Like
But
That's
that's it. None of the other movies or even other TV shows, all that did Phase 4 was literally just a introduction phase to then
Were they
start
too busy just making awesome Star Wars shows?
to then make Phase 5, which is gonna now be the Kang Dynasty.
Which is sad because they started off with Ant-Man and like Paul Rudd is a good actor, but that is the perfect movie that should be a TV show because Ant-Man is Ant-Man. Make it a TV show. Make it like a comedy TV show or something like that. But don't make Kang, this powerful god, his first movie, Ant-Man.
He's. I like you're right. I like Paul Rudd. I like the character of Ant-Man. I feel like he can't carry a movie though, and he's gotten 3. And not Paul Rudd. I mean the character. I
Correct.
thought 1 was very good. I thought 1 needs to exist because you have to have him in the future ones.
Why it wasn't good anyways?
Well,
If they had,
I
I'll
like
tell
it.
you
Like,
this right now.
like
Here,
I just thought it was.
I'm gonna ask you 3 questions. I know Pez has
Uh-oh.
watched everything. Here's my question: if Disney Plus already existed, out of Phase 1, 2, 3, which are TV shows and which are movies?
Fair. I think Ant-Man would do better for, or maybe not.
Because
even
you know some of that
Well,
would have been a TV show, right? So which ones are TV shows?
I don't think you give Ant-Man his own show. I think you either give him a movie or you make his story part of someone else's storyline.
Yeah.
But
honestly,
he's like a
yeah.
spy espionage TV show, is he not?
I mean, you could, but I just feel like 3 or 4 episodes of him not doing Ant-Man things would have been like you
Just
have
being
to
a
have
regular,
him
just
big.
being a regular white dude.
We're gonna Baskin Robbins for 2 episodes.
Oh man.
No,
I mean, I'm gonna be dragged to the new Ant-Man movie because Little Pez is very excited about it. She's all in on Marvel, so I
Yeah.
get taken to even the bad stuff. So
oh, I am gonna see it opening week. Let's
We'll
be,
see- we'll see how
let's
it
be honest.
I've already got
go
a DC girl in my daughter. Like, I showed her the James Gunn thing, and she's like, "Oh," I'm like, "Honey, you're gonna be old enough. Like, you're gonna get to see all this."
I like the first Ant-Man movie. I
Mm.
enjoyed it. It was I didn't like the second one. I did like the first one. It was quirky.
You didn't answer
at
my
the
you
time.
didn't answer my question. Does Winter Soldier, even though it's the best movie, maybe they don't make a movie and they make a TV show just about him and then they make that movie? You know what I mean? That they just make like Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier was. But do you think Winter Soldier would have got his own TV show? Like, which of the movies of the characters would have got a TV show?
None, because they all played an important role in in Infinity War.
So
So they
they
wouldn't.
got a streaming service.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
It
doesn't
matter.
It doesn't matter what
have
your
to
streaming
drop
services.
it.
It's because they don't need. So those guys don't need their own series. These guys, the ones with the series, Wanda got her own. Wanda and Loki got their own series to go into Phase 5. Let's be honest. That was the plan, right? But She-Hulk, Moon Knight, basically Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel, they're all getting their series because they're not a draw in the movies. Paul Rudd gets a movie because it doesn't matter if Ant-Man's a draw, but Paul Rudd's a draw.
Yep.
And he brought people into the movies. So yeah, slap at a base.
Slapping the base.
So yeah, slap at a base. So I don't think any of the first couple phases would have been movies. I mean, would have been TV shows. If anything, honestly, based on how the first couple movies went, you give Thor a TV show because his first 2 movies were terrible.
Agreed. He actually has only had one good movie. He's had more movies than anybody.
Yeah, and it's Ragnarok is his best one. I didn't enjoy Love and Thunder, even on a second
did I.
watch when I was like, okay, this is being told to us by Korg. I still didn't like it.
I'm agreeing.
Korg
with
is
you.
telling the story of that movie, which is why it's all wacky and weird and funny because
I
he
like the
obviously
first
idolizes Thor.
I thought the first one was good.
Hmm.
But also, every Thor movie is just
okay,
Loki
can-
betraying
can
him at some
we-
point.
Can we put out a poll here, and admit that Waba says things are good that are not?
That's not true. I think Pez is good.
That's not
Ooh,
nice.
See, he's breaking.
God.
He's breaking his own. He's breaking his own thing.
You're like,
might be onto
everything's
something.
lying. I love how Pez is. He's like,
Well, it might
he's
be
like,
onto
yeah,
something.
everything Waba says does suck, and then I'm like, yeah, Pez is good. He's like, you know what? Waba's lying right now in front of all of you.
He's,
Change my
he's lying
mind
to you
mid sentence.
guys.
Be a good politician, Pez.
Thank you.
So yeah, last topic before we get into some individual games that we've been doing. Star Wars delayed. So another big release that we're all looking forward to. Star
Delayed.
Wars Jedi Fallen Order was
Nope.
going to
Nope.
release. Nope, sorry.
Nope,
Star
that
Wars.
game is not delayed because it's already been released.
That game was released for like 4 years ago.
Sorry.
It's a very good game, though.
Star Wars Jedi: Survivor. I don't like the. But I'm not going to get into the
Just
title.
call it Jedi Survivor, and it's just easier.
Do you not like the Jedi's colon?
No,
Oh,
but I understand that the series is Star Wars Jedi, and then the game name is Survivor.
Not today, Pasta.
It's just not. It's not a good title. The syntax I feel like is
I
poor.
would
Anyway,
have. I was kind of hoping for a Jedi Fallen Survivor.
I was hoping
I
for
guess that
Star Wars
doesn't-
Jedi 2: The Streets.
Battlefield, Battlefront 3,
The
the
Streets.
streets.
But it is delayed. It's delayed 6 weeks, and I find it interesting that this is such a story because, like, literally they could have just changed it on all the websites, and I don't think anyone would have noticed. Not because people aren't looking forward to it, but because all the delays that are coming up are people coming out like, "Yeah, we're sorry, we got to delay it a year, we got to delay it 6 months." They're like, "Yeah, we just need to like wait till Tim comes back from like PTO, and then we can like roll this game out." Are you folks disappointed? I mean, obviously, I know we all believe delays are good, but are you surprised how much attention this is getting for 6 weeks?
I think it's because it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
The Star
So-
Wars nerds?
and it's also a game that the first one was released at the end of the year, and everybody was kind of mad because it never got nominated for Game of the Year, and I still think it should have won. And then when the following year came, it didn't matter because it's so late, right? It's just one of those things. It's also looks really good, and I think it's some people's most anticipated game this year, right? Like you've got Legend of Zelda for all you Nintendo nerds, but then you've got what, Starfield for Xbox, Spider-Man for PlayStation, but this is the most anticipated third party game for sure.
It's probably either that or Hogwarts, honestly.
Yeah.
Some
big
might say it's the
franchise,
best. Yeah, some might say that Star Wars Survivor is the best.
I
one
would.
coming up, third party.
I would. I love Star Wars. There's no Batman game, so Star Wars wins.
I don't know. I'm excited for it, but I am very surprised how much attention it's getting for 6 weeks. And the interesting part is a lot of people seem relieved. They're like, "Oh, good. Like now I can like finish like the last game before to play this one." It's such a weird response where they're talking about it a lot, but everybody's either happy or just indifferent. And I feel like I've never seen that when something's been delayed. Like I even was like, "Oh, like good. That'll give me some breathing room to play stuff."
Yeah, I'm indifferent
hold on.
because
What
the
were you
month
gonna play?
before Hogwarts comes out, and they're saying it's completionist run could be up to 100 hours.
Oh god, I don't have 100 hours.
Yes, you do.
So I'll give you your list. So in February, we have Deliver Us to Mars, Hogwarts Legacy, Tomb Raider Reloaded, Wild Hearts. Some people care for that.
That's a PES game.
Atomic
know.
Hearts, which comes to Game Pass, which is on February 21st.
I'm excited for Atomic Heart.
Like a Dragon Ishin. A lot of people are excited for that.
Oh, I
Yes,
need to
also
actually.
excited
Yep.
for that.
PSVR 2 comes out on February 22nd. So that gets your Horizon, Moss, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it gets you all those because that's just Kirby's Return to Dreamland. No one cares. Octopath Traveler 2 at the end of the month. And then Destiny 2,
I don't care.
Lightfall is at the end of the month. And then where PGA Tour, I see a picture for it, but when's the game coming out? Anyways, I'll keep going. Wulong Fallen Dynasty. The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is in March.
Isn't
EA
Wulong-
Sports PGA Tour. Whatever
that's
it is.
No,
doesn't matter.
isn't it? Isn't that going on Game Pass? Isn't that?
Everything goes on Game Pass.
Yeah, that game looks sick.
Resident Evil 4 is in March. MLB The Show, Pez. Yeah, buddy. We could. Yes, we knew who Jad Chisholm was, and Waba's going to play it this year because it's on Game Pass.
They told me it was his name was Jazz, and I'm like,
The music?
like the music, the Utah Jazz. Does he play jazz? Does he enjoy jazz? And they're like, we don't care.
In March, Pez, we get MLB The Show on the 28th, and we also get System Shock.
How dare we not mention the biggest release, Peppa Pig World Adventures.
Dude,
It's not on the list.
What do you
on
mean
March
it's not on the list?
17th. Yep,
Check
March
the list
17th.
again.
Well, dude, that's gonna be one of the biggest games in my house.
It is
I
the
might
most
stream it
anticipated.
on our channel.
I think we should. We could
Oh,
play
I
it.
might.
I
It's 2
I
players,
absolutely
not?
2
Hmm?
players.
And then we have Mega Man in April, Minecraft, Dead Island 2, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So yeah, so in the month of April, it is coming out by itself. There's a Star Trek game coming out, Resurgence. And then you have Redfall in May, followed by Legend of Zelda a week later. And you have also in May, you have Suicide Squad. And then in June, we have Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6. And in July, nothing. No, that's it.
June's a big month for me. I'm going to spam low hard kick until I make my way past the first rank. It's gonna be sick.
So Waba, Street Fighter 6 comes out on the 2nd. Diablo 4 comes out on the 6th. You won't even play Street Fighter.
You have 4 days to master Cammy and take her to the gold.
Otherwise,
The
Waba,
biggest
take
sin is
her-
Sakura is
take
not
her
even
to
at
Diamond.
launch.
what if there's early play on Diablo 4? Like, you're not playing anything else. So once June hits, for people that are listening, Waba's going to play Diablo and nothing else.
I am, because I hear not even death can save you from me, you know?
I
So-
also can hear that by that time, if the deal goes through, that's on Game Pass. Look at
that'd
Waba.
be-
He's
that'd
looking
be
at the
huge.
ground just like,
Oh my
It's
God.
just very weird. I know I say this every single episode. I don't know, man. I still, I'm just an old boomer here, you know? I
what,
pay my
Game Pass
taxes.
still-
I
still-
fax my documents to the post office. Like, I don't know about all these free things you get on Game Pass. It's still very
Hey,
interesting.
MLB The
Ooh,
Show.
You know what?
day and date
You know
on Game
what?
Pass.
You know what's slated to come out in May? WrestleQuest. Let's go! I'm
Dude,
super excited for
finally.
that game.
That's on Game Pass. Day and date.
It says it says May TBC, so it might get pushed back. But oh boy,
Is that the
Oh,
one with
boy.
Macho Man on the front?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's the one I
that's
got to
Game Pass.
play, and Jeff Jarrett called me a jobber.
That
And
is.
then he
You got
raised
to
my
meet
hand.
Jeff freaking Jarrett.
I wonder if he'll be there at
Dude, if
PAX
he's
this
there
time. I
this
bet
year-
they're gonna have a presence.
I want him to on video to call me Slapnuts.
Oh, and we also have Assassin's Creed and Marvel Spider-Man
It's too much
Yeah,
stuff.
Marvel Spider-Man in what, November?
and
No, just
NHL
fall, just
24, Avatar.
I mean,
Frontier
NHL
Pandora.
obviously the biggest one.
Yeah, if they don't
Obviously.
change it, I'm out. Like I just can't with that game.
It's fine. Well, I know we've talked about some games that are coming up, but let's talk about some games that we've been playing. So there are several reviews up on our channel that you can see more in depth. But let's talk about some games. Pez, you first. You got to
Sure.
play SpongeBob.
I got to play French SpongeBob. I got to play SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake by Purple Lamp Games, and it
SpongeBob?
is
SpongeBob
a SpongeBob.
from Le Quebec.
2 hours later. It is a very fun. It is a very easy platformer. It is not open world. It gives you the allure of being open world, but it's actually a pretty direct and linear platformer. It's a lot of fun. It's goofy. If you have kids who are SpongeBob fans, they're gonna love it. If you're a SpongeBob fan, you're gonna love it. There's a lot of throwbacks to the show. Obviously, they use a lot of the source material very, very well. All your loading screens are random, and it's that guy being like 2 hours later, and it's just
That's really good.
While I was playing it, it made me giggle. The voice acting is really good. I don't know if they got the actual actors or just imitating voice actors, but it seems like all the voices that should be there are there. Again, there's a big plethora of characters. There's no microtransactions. There's like 30 plus costumes that you buy with all the jelly you pick up. All of them references to the show. I had a good time playing it. I only played it once. I'm not going to go back to it, but I enjoyed my time with it. Doesn't seem like a very long game. I probably put like 10 or 12 hours into it, and I probably had another 5 to 7 more. So it was good. Is it on Game Pass? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think
Nope.
that's Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Mhm.
But it's by the same studio who made Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. So if you enjoyed that,
Bikini Bottom Rehydrated was on PlayStation Plus.
so if you enjoyed that, that same art style is in this new one where it's kind of like the 3D, kind of like taken from the movies. And they had, they're not remastering an old game. They actually were able to do their own thing. So I enjoyed it. It's $40. It's not 60, so it's a $40 game. If you got $40 kicking around and you're a big fan of the Spoonge, give it a shot.
Right
Lava.
on. And again, full review on the YouTube, and I would say check out that review. First off, because Pez does an insane intro
The intro's
as
awesome.
the captain.
The captain.
Give us a little
Captain
give us a little
Redbeard.
preview.
No, Captain, my throat hurts. Captain Redbeard showed up, so you gotta go check it out. 3 Dads and a Console.
It's a big market tease.
YouTube.com/3 Dads and a Console.
Hell yeah.
Get the old shanty. Give me the old shanty.
Court, you and I have been playing a game, and I want to lead off with you. It's called Season: A Letter to the Future. Tell us your impressions about it.
Well, I'm gonna try and not, because it's not a long game, and I feel that the story is integral to the game, and I honestly think at any type of giving away of anything that happens in the game is almost like a spoiler. I'll try and keep it as simple as possible. You're a character named Estelle, who is trying to figure out what the seasons are all about, and you go into this world and you take photographs, you take audio recordings, and you sketch to jot down your memories and keep track of everything to let the future know about what you're experiencing. And the thing I loved about the game so much is it was an experience, especially the audio recordings.
Yes.
You would be shocked to where you would get sound, and there would be certain elements that would give conversations that you could hear of that was still there. And it was very calming as you ride your bike throughout this world, which cool enough has dual sense capabilities, so you actually could feel the pedals and there was some resistance as you ride your bike going
Yep.
up hills and so on and so forth. But there was always something to look off in the distance. And it wasn't like you were just doing things for no reason. There always seems to be a purpose. You can actually finish the game rather quickly. But I took a lot of beaten paths. I actually was pretty impressed when the trophies finally popped and I was only missing 2. I was like, wow, okay. I really did take my time with the game. But there's a great little cast of characters that you get to meet throughout. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and there's a cool mystery behind the game. And I actually want more because I don't feel it was answered at the end of the game. What were your takes, Waba?
So I've spent several hours. I've not finished it because again, I feel like I'm going a little slower than I would. I thought it was interesting. Like even the beginning, the themes in it are memory and like a lot to do with like are we living in the past? Are we living in the now? And like how do we preserve the future? And they carry these themes on the whole time, and it's not like it doesn't throw it in your face, which I like. It's just very woven into literally everything that's there, but it's very subtle at times. I do like how it's the game. There's a section it's not open. Well, I would say it's open world, but it's a very contained. It's like there's a bunch of different things, points that you can go to. You can choose to go to them. You cannot. Maybe you find something there that you want to bring back. Like you pass by a like a payphone at one point, and then other places you find like a number to call in, and you can choose to do that or not. It's not gonna like ruin the game if you do or don't. And there's also places you can choose to go to or not. You can take pictures or recordings in the areas and like uncover the mystery or not. Like you don't have to finish it all. It's cool how it doesn't like, and there's things you can miss and not, and like interactions. I just like how there's just so much like. It reminds me a lot like Journey, where everyone like I feel like you'll have your own experience. And some things are going to resonate more with you than others. There's one instance where they were the idea of like leaving physical things behind and like choosing what to take was like approached, and like for me that's a big deal because I love like stuff, and to think like okay you have to choose and like the reasons behind it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I kind of feel for this person. And then like I don't know, it was just it makes you kind of think, and I'm not used to that in games. But yeah, and the art style is great. Listening to these different people's stories and characters, and I'm definitely gonna finish it. And you can either I find myself in the current area. Someone's trying to show me around, and I just stopped following. Hopefully, he's not still waiting for me. But I'm just
Oh,
kind of
dude, you did
finding
that to the
what to
little boy?
explore.
That's not nice.
I didn't want to, but I happened upon things, and my man kind of left me in the
If I
dust.
told you get a trophy by following the little boy.
I know you do, and that's why I'm trying to find him.
Yeah, you definitely
Trust,
did.
I'm not finishing this game without finding him. I'll spend an hour. But I think they did a really good job with it. I think it's definitely like it's definitely a slower paced game. And I know we just talked about like a lot of like, big experiences and like probably more intense ones. But if you're looking for something to just chill out in the evening, like this is such a good thing to pick up. And you can just pick it up where you left off. So yeah, like it. So that's Season a Letter to the Future. Last game, just want to talk about quickly, and I'm only going to go into a little bit, is I played Fashion Police Squad, a very different game to the two we just talked about. It's a pixel first-person shooter, and it's basically Doom. But instead of like vanquishing your enemies, they just don't dress well, so kind of like me. And you shoot them with different guns that will help their style, and then they transform and they're happy. And I know that seems kind of like silly, like what's a drop. Basically, if you like Doom, this is Doom. The pickups, the armor are like mocktails. Like you can find like watches and loot. They have secrets you can find. It's literally the gameplay is Doom, but different enemies you can only like attack them with certain weapons. And it was just fun, just running around and like seeing this world. And at the end, like you have like this like magic like fashion glove, and you can just teleport and whack people. Like it's like right out of JoJo, if you're an anime person. And I would definitely like recommend like checking it out. Again, all our reviews for these games are on our YouTube channel. If it's something you like, if you like old school like shooters like that, it's great. And again, you're parent show. You're not actually like killing anyone. You're just shooting them with a paintball gun, with a tailoring gun, with you're removing the neon from their shirt, and you're just making them like nobody dies. They just sit there cheering for you. So it's just a silly game that we've been playing, and glad I picked it up. Fashion Police Squad. Also, I realized this while recording. FPS is an abbreviation for Fashion Police Squad. So didn't know. I don't know if it's intentional, but yeah, they make a good Doom clone, but I think it's definitely way more silly. So
Very
now
cool.
let's hop into another big topic that we've been talking about. Last of Us episode 3 just came out
Oh my god, I totally forgot we were going to talk about that.
on my list. We don't have to. I
Um,
mean, we can talk about it. I know we're kind of close to
Two-
time, but
two
this is a big
things.
impact. So Pez, take it away.
Two things. One, probably one of the only times I cried watching TV. Legitimately like sobbing. Two, all you freaking dorks out there that are upset that it was not in the game, but it was on TV and blah, blah, blah. Like, welcome to writing a TV show. You need to get people invested in your characters. So giving them a backstory that you see, because hello, TV, a video game can give you drops that you can read over time. A TV show cannot be like, hey, here's a letter from Frank. Go read it later. You have to see the relationship to then get the drama behind it. This is a television show, my friends. I thought it was well written. I thought it was incredibly acted. Nick Offerman seems to just play those roles perfectly, right? Bill was basically Apocalypse Ron from Parks and Rec, and pretty much acted the same way. And I thought the guy that played Frank was incredibly well done. It was strong. It garnered emotion, at least for me, and it was very different from the first two episodes. And I liked that it kept you on your toes of what is to come, because now they're going to potentially look into other deeper relationships than just surface level stuff. Like, yeah, in the game, we know that that Bill and Frank were lovers, right? But like this show, the episode was totally different. and showed us stuff that we don't, that is never seen in the game, that draws a connection into this couple, and then makes Bill maybe a more relatable character, but a better character because he has a fleshed out backstory that we saw happen in real time. So I thought it was very good. I think all the people who are being incredibly homophobic about it are always going to be homophobic about anything. I think if it was the same scene but with a man and a woman, you wouldn't hear people making the same stink about it. And I think the dorks who are crying because it wasn't in the game are just dorks. And if we're going to allow things to quote unquote break the video game curse, sometimes it has to be different from the game you played. That's it. Dorks.
I agree
love
with
that
everything,
word.
including the dorks comment. But I'm so confused on what people were getting frustrated about, that because it wasn't in the game. Well, one, all that happened was, if we remember the letters and so on and so forth, instead of Bill making the decisions he made in the game, Neil Druckmann and the writers were like, "What happens if Bill does what Frank wants him to do?"
Yeah.
So we got the multiverse of The Last of Us, and we got to see a different Spike. So instead of Bill being this stubborn guy, this is the way it's going to be. He made a choice when they're out in front of the house when Frank asked to do those things, because I don't want to give everything away.
Mhm.
And Bill made a choice, and in the show, Bill made the choice to to open up and let Frank in, instead of the opposite, which happened in the game and what we got to see. But you also got to remember, in the game, the reason everything is happening is for totally different reasons. In this, the motivation is Joel is trying to get to his brother. Like, that's all the motivation in this the whole time. So and also, if you remember, in the game, it's all about action. You can't do this type of story in a game because it just, no one's going to play it. But it's a TV show, so they can do it. So, and for people that are complaining, um Neil Druckmann co-wrote this whole show. So cry me a river, dig me a lake. That is all.
And you dorks.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, excellent. I definitely missed the Bill from the game, but I don't think it needed to be there. Like, you have the game for one experience, and the show's definitely going in a different direction. And while, like, I just feel like it's a different direction than people looking into, like, oh, it's a shot for shot adaptation. That's not what this is. And I think they made that pretty clear. And you still get that experience in the game if you want it. Like, if you want to see, like, Bill and Ellie interact, you can look up the clips, you can play the game, like, it's still there. And they're taking like a different spin on it. And this whole show, or this whole episode, it seems like this is something like in a game you would find through like there's other characters in the game, you find notes and you find like things about them, like that's their backstory. This is that in real time. So again, when I say, I would have liked, that's it's one of those things where the direction they went was a different direction than I think I anticipated, but it's not one that I feel was wrong or like any less impactful, because I thought everything in that episode, like everyone acted, the acting was great. Like, it was definitely like a very powerful episode of TV. And also too, like, you're having people watch it who don't know the game. So like, you're not tied to a story. Like, you can make it whatever you want. Like, if they like you don't have, it's not, it's an adaptation, but it's not like a frame by frame. Granted, they do that, but they don't have to. And I mean, we've already seen changes that people have accepted. So like,
I mean,
this is just another change. Like, why? Like, I don't know.
Their main quote unquote villain changed, right? The whole reason this whole thing is happening is different. And everyone's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. It's like, well, listen, nerds, if you want shot by shot, you need to not be okay with it. So they're just being selective. And like I said earlier, HBO isn't going to just have Nick Offerman sitting in the rain in 2023 listening to audio logs of Frank being like, "Oh, Bill, I've loved you so much." Like, it doesn't work that way. It just, in games it works, because as you're listening to Frank's audio log, you're shooting this zombie in the face. It doesn't work that way in TV, dum-dums.
I have
They're not
enjoyed
video
seeing
games.
I have enjoyed seeing like what happens before. Like I know they had like the interview, and then they had the the scientist, and now basically this happened at the beginning. You got to see Doomsday Prepper Bill and kind of like what happened before.
And Joel
Now,
even talks to Ellie at that one part when they're walking, and I'm trying not to spoil. He gives
Yep.
the reason for the outbreak. It's not just the theory that everybody was saying. It was more
Right.
than one thing. It was almost like a Batman thing in Batman in the first one, where it was like combination of things does this, and that was kind of what he explained. He was like, it wasn't just this one thing, which was the theory everybody had. It was also this, and when
It
those two things
was
combined, it had an issue.
Arnold Schwarzenegger dressed as Mr. Freeze saying "Nice to meet you."
just be cool. Can we
Everybody
at least?
chill.
This is a minor spoiler, but can we be, as a Bostonian, can we just say how proud that this
Cumberland Farms.
region was when Cumberland Farms was used as a location?
Dude, Cumbies, let's go. 99-cent iced coffees, and they are delicious.
I was like, I feel like everybody from this area was just the Leonardo DiCaprio meme of like, oh, like pointing to the thing, like everybody. And that's like the first thing I saw on like Twitter where everyone was just like, oh my
Well,
gosh, Combi, shout out.
Can I not see
Was
any more of the 5 miles out of Boston memes? I'm done with those.
Those are really funny.
10
I had
miles
a-
out of Boston, there's a waterfall.
I did look up where Lincoln, Mass was. It's very
There's
it's
an
a
open
little
field.
different.
There's a giant field with a smashed up plane. It's actually in
Yeah.
Alberta.
Yeah, 10 miles outside of Boston, you're definitely not finding any fields at all.
Yeah, Lincoln, Mass is not that. It's not 10 miles.
No.
But-
Easy K in the chat at youtube.com/3dads on console. We talked about this last week, but the events of The Last of Us Part 2 in the second season, thoughts?
I still say part 2 is 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like they're gonna show the whole
I
first game
think
story.
I think we get 2 seasons. It just makes sense.
Theoretically, they should anyway, because
Yeah, it's long.
hashtag money.
Ha-
Independent of the story, like they can.
Hashtag very long. I honestly
yeah.
thought originally that part 1 would be 2 seasons, but
I'm
the way
glad
they're
it's
doing it,
not.
I'm like, I guess not.
I'm glad it's not. I wouldn't be able to wait, but
Why? Because I thought for sure that David part would be the ending of season 1. So winter would be the end, and then we would start into the next, and we would go right from the ending to the next episode. Like we would just keep going.
I'm
Why?
interested. I'm interested if they treat other characters. I mean, I don't think we'll get as
I don't think we
long and
can,
impactful, but I wonder
because-
if we'll get some form of backstory before meeting them or during meeting them.
I think what we're gonna get is we're gonna meet 2 characters in the next
Mhm.
episode, and then we're gonna get the outcome of said 2 characters in the next episode, in the one after that. Because like you can't, if you're gonna meet them to build up the heartbreak, I think you need more than.
Yeah.
Well, no, Bill only got 1 episode. If
Yeah.
you get an hour and a half episode, I don't know.
So
But we
I mean,
know
we'll
it's
see.
about to come. There's about to be a truck that's gonna come around and try and kill everybody next week.
There's so many, like even seeing the preview, I'm like,
The
there's
truck's
like
in the preview and the trailer,
yeah.
so I'm not giving anything away.
there's so many like little scenes that I just can't like wait for too.
But
Like,
when are
and
we
just see how they
getting
do
Left Behind? Like we know that's coming. So when are we getting it? That's a whole episode. So
Fun fact: never played that DLC, so I'm excited to see
fun
what they do.
fact, that is impossible and embarrassing, and if you don't play it, we're no longer friends.
Is it included with the
Yes.
Can I just go into it like
Yes.
with the
And
remaster version?
And you know what? The ending of it is very hard.
Hey, here's this really depressing thing. You should go ahead and play it.
You should play it.
It is. It's very good.
All right, fine. I'll play it. Jeez.
Boom.
Don't you want
See
your
ya.
platinum?
I barely got 1 trophy in that game. Forget about platinum. That game is impossible. What they do to you.
I
but-
platinumed it.
Okay, sure.
I platinum it.
Got him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you guys were such challenging survival horror game enthusiasts.
It's my
didn't
favorite
know?
game of all time.
You didn't know I have 2 platinums. One of them is definitely The Last of Us and not Lego Batman 3 and Rocket League.
It's definitely Rocket League, because I remember when he got that one.
Oh, I
Yep,
need to
and
finish
Lego
Rocket
Batman
League.
3 that I got on Vita. Let's go.
I respect that so much. Any final thoughts before we head out for?
No.
There's a lot of talk from IGN about a Vita 2 should Sony do it? The quick and dirty answer is yes, but if it's proprietary memory cards, then no. Next.
Honestly, great answer. Love the take. Clip it, ship it. Folks, that has been the episode. So thank you so much for spending time with us. If you had fun, please make sure to like and subscribe on youtube.com/3dadsandconsole. If you're interested in any of the 3 games we talked about, SpongeBob, Fashion Police Squad, and also Season, please check out our YouTube for full reviews from the 3 of us. And the Burns are
pasta.
No,
Damn.
Derek, I love his dog Forbert.
Dude, Forbert eats pucks.
Assisted by Trent Frederick.
Ooh,
Just what a
Club,
gem.
Let's go.
He was a nice fool.
And yeah, hopefully you folks enjoyed. We also, if you're listening to the audio, if you want to see us like cheer in the background when the Bruins score, you can also check us out. We record live at 7:30 Eastern time on Wednesday. And next week we're going to be talking about the biggest game that's come out from Xbox right now, Hi-Fi Rush. So you'll be able to listen to us in our review on it. Well, thank you folks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.